This is Sifu Dr Mark Stevenson, and we're back for session 7, stepping, in our Welcome to Wing Chun series. So far we've talked about some basic methods of moving. The stance, turning, and we've learned at least 1 or 2 basic hand shapes. Now, I think this is quite an early stage compared to some other schools, but I think it's so important that at the beginning of your training, you think, I've got to move my feet, right? Stepping, footwork, absolutely essential. Many people that I see training Wing Chun, far too static, okay? You've got to move your feet, you've got to step, you've got to move. And what you're taught at the beginning kind of sinks into your subconscious of your training. So I like from the start to introduce a lot of stepping, okay? So we're gonna open up into our fighting stance. I'm gonna show you how to do it normally, and then I'll turn side on so that I'll be stepping into the camera. And then from there I will teach the arrow step, which is a basic shuffling step similar to a fencing step. So feet together as per normal, pay our respects, bend the knees, open once, twice, okay? Then turn 90 degrees all the way, and we come into a back-weighted fighting stance, okay? This can be either narrow or up to about shoulder width wide, and it's sort of shoulder width and a half or outside shoulder width long, yeah? So we're not double shoulder width, we're not like a kind of karate or Shaolin bow stance, but we're not fat, we're not like a fat white crane stance or some Tai Chi styles train like this as well. So it's a little bit longer, the weight is back weighted, 70–80% back, and as I said, either in line or inside shoulder width wide. So it's kind of a thin-ish stance, and it's not super low, you know, so it's not, again, it's not a Shaolin style karate stance, like this kind of thing. It is what I call sort of a high natural stance, so just slightly sunk, right? But not so much that you can't move or your butt gets stuck out or any of this kind of thing, right? So we don't want that low. Good. Now, from this position, we can step. So don't worry about the hands for now, we'll do something with that in a minute. And what you're going to do is just push and shuffle along front back, yeah? It's a shuffling step, like I said, much like a kind of, you know, a fencer might move. It's very similar in that regard. So we slide along and then the back leg comes afterwards. So 1, 2, yeah? So if I just do a few steps going forward, so arrow forward is the name, it's the arrow forward is this step. Arrow forward, yeah? So just a small fencer shuffle moving forward. Arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow forward. That's it, yeah? So just a small stance shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? So just so you can do somewhere that can see a few steps. I'll do it facing towards you as well. So if we wanted to face towards you, would open up this way. Turn, yeah? And then from this position we can still move. Arrow forward, yeah? Arrow forward. Just so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. Key things with this step, so common mistakes, okay? Common mistakes are the elephant kung fu, so yeah, I'm doing kung fu, so I've got to make a lot of noise, right? Very, very common mistake, yeah? When people are stepping up, yeah? Stomping around everywhere. It shouldn't make noise, right? So I can still be punching hard, but stepping light, yeah? So my steps, I should be sunk, weight down, but my steps are light and fast. You see, even though I'm doing all those movements, the only noise that I'm making is this kind of, you know, brushing along the floor noise, okay? Not stomping, smashing, okay? That's very important. So avoid picking the leg up and dumping your weight down, yeah? Or stomping like this, okay? Keep the weight back, push and follow up, push and follow up. Yeah, you still want to be solid on the floor, because this is the other mistake, is that people think, okay, I'm just skating around. Yeah, and they move around, the weight comes up, and they just move around like this. Yeah, and they've got no structure. This is very common as well. So still, practice your basic stance, sink down, you have that same triangular structure, but now, step and drive forward. Step and drive forward, yeah? So my weight is still down. Yeah, I've still got a good structure, and I'm still following this triangle shape, yeah? But I'm moving light and fast on the feet. This is very important. What to do with the hands. So, let's open up our stance again. 2 punches in front, turn, yeah? So now we're in a sort of much more practical fighting stance. It looks a little bit like an old school boxing stance. So have you ever seen those people, oh, like this, oh, yeah, right? It's very similar to that, okay? So one in front of the chin, in fact both chin height, and elbows tucked, driving forward. As we step, we punch. So front leg, back hand, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah? So I just do this again, and then I do it slowly together, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah? And then eventually it just becomes one movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah? Each step is about 1 foot's distance, right? That's just a small step, right? It's a small adjustment. This is another common mistake. People, again, I'm doing martial arts. Every step's got to be like this, right? Halfway across the room. We don't need this. This step is a small adjustment. An opponent steps, bang, I move, boom, I move, move, in, out, yeah? So each of those is an arrow step, right? So I've either moved forward or back, but I've done them at a slight 45. So if there's a punch coming towards me, it's coming towards me on center line, boom, punch, yeah? So I just take a 45-degree arrow step, cover, strike, yeah? Very, very useful, very practical step, small step, yeah? Not a giant leap, right? It also works backwards. You can practice it going back, right? So let's open up our stance again. 1, 2, throw out, turn. From this position, we're going to do arrow back, right? This is the opposite. So back leg, but the hands are the same, right? So the hands are the same, but my back leg moves first. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we do arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow back, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow back, arrow back, arrow forward, arrow forward, arrow back. Good. Excellent. And that's the drill in itself. You can just, once you've got forward and back, you can practice and you can drill this and you can just do it, 5–10 minutes, forward and backward steps. You don't need much space. Anywhere you can do 3 or 4 steps is plenty to practice. Good. See you all next time.